What's going on, everybody? My name is Austin. Welcome to the channel where we talk about everything comic book related, and today we have Nightwing issue 134, where he comes face to face with his new villain, the Zanny. Now, for some context before we get started, the Zanny is a fifth-dimensional being who has been creating fake circus tents in Blüdhaven and abducting children to come join his circus. And with the help of Martian Manhunter, Nightwing was able to reach the fifth dimension and go after the Zanny. Anyways, let's get right into the issue. We start off with Martian Manhunter saying Titan's Tower was an idea intended as a symbol of hope, a home for heroes. That idea was turned into concrete and steel. It was made real. The fifth dimension is the realm of ideas. From there, they intrude into our reality. They are made material, like Nightmite, an idea who decided to make himself corporeal, now warped by contact with reality, turned into a soup. And Nightmite says, soup. Manhunter continues and says fifth dimensional activity also turned the Blüdhaven child Bryce Moran into Nightwing Prime, granting him the power of a Kryptonian hero. With that came Kryptonian weaknesses, allowing him to be laid low by a kryptonite weapon. And Barbara Gordon says, that's all well and good, Martian Manhunter. What I asked is, what are you doing here, and where has Nightwing gone? And John says, he asked for my help to get there, Oracle, into the fifth dimension. He's gone to the Cirque du Sin. And it's here where we catch up with Nightwing, who is in the fifth dimension, saying, a lion-headed tamer roars at me as he cracks his whip. A horrific squawking rises from a pit of 10,000 razor-beaked chickens as they bite the heads off live geeks. These are the sounds of the Cirque du Sin, the dark, swirling soul of the circus. Ignore them, block it all out. It isn't real. But Nightwing opens his eyes back up and is greeted by Olivia Pierce. Now, if you don't remember, Olivia Pierce is a character who basically lost her face via the Zanny because as a little girl, she was captured by him as well. But she swore up and down that Robin was going to come to her aid and was going to come and save her. And the Zanny basically cut her head off to try to make it look like Nightwing had killed her on live TV. Anyways, Nightwing says, I follow the memory of a dead enemy who carries her head in her arm. She says I must play a game if I want to save the children of Blüdhaven. This too will be designed to provoke me, but 9 children have been brought here. One of them is barely 9 months old, so what choice do I have? I step through the curtain as I knew I'd have to. I step into the ring, and Nightwing says, Zanny? And Zanny greets him, saying, Nightwing, you've made it. We've been waiting. The children were so excited to hear you were coming. As behind him, we can see that the Zanny has turned all of these children he's abducted into weird-looking dolls. And obviously, this makes Nightwing a little angry. And Zanny says, what? Nothing to say about how they've changed, been improved? Nightwing says this is the Zanny's place of power. Reality here is his to define. Whatever he's done, he can undo it. It's not real. It's designed to get under my skin. Block it out. Don't give it to him. He continues and says, I'm told I'm here to play a game. And Olivia says, aw, we thought you'd at least try a couple backflips and kicks and stuff first. And Nightwing admits that won't work here. And Zanny says, you're right. I am the god of the circus, that place your people go to when they wish to see the boundaries of the world fall down, for up to become down, for anything to be possible. They come to my realm to marvel. Then they return to the fear and dreariness of the everyday. It doesn't have to be that way, not for much longer. As he reaches down into the ground and reveals something, saying, the circus has been confined to the tent for too long, don't you think? Once I have made you my ringmaster, we will spread our will across every dimension, but I know where we'll start. And Nightwing is shocked at the revelation and says, that's... And Zanny says, yes. Oh, yes, it is. Your beloved city of Blüdhaven. As Zanny has constructed the city of Blüdhaven with tin cans, saying, and we're going to play Tin Can Alley, you and me, the simplest game of the carnival, one of the first. And if you knock down more of the city than I do, the children can go back there with you. Back to the rubble, that is. You understand? Up is down, down is up. The city of tin here is the city of concrete and steel where you come from. No trick, no illusion. They are one and the same. Shall I go first? As he winds up for his throw, Nightwing yells at him and says, don't! But we go back to Blüdhaven, where Martian Manhunter is still talking to Barbara Gordon and says Titan's Tower was an idea, but when ideas make contact with reality, they change. A symbol of hope, of aspiration, becomes something else when it sits empty, when it gathers dust and moss. And Barbara asks, what does that have to do with you sending my partner into the Cirque du Sin? And here we can also see Bryce Moran, aka Nightwing Prime, laying in this rehabilitation rehabilitation chamber after he got shot with kryptonite. If you aren't familiar with Bryce Moran, he was a little boy who was basically part of Blüdhaven's Teddy gang that had a run-in with Nightwing, and Nightwing was doing his best to help him get out of that gang. But he wound up sneaking into Titan's tower, and from there was turned into Nightwing Prime by Nightmite. Nightwing Prime being the urban legend from the Kryptonian city of Kandor, as we've heard about from Superman. And John says the Cirque is an idea. It is intruding on this city. It believes it can do this by integrating Nightwing into itself. And Barbara says that is such a load of bull, but John's not really looking at her, and she says, hey, at least pay attention when I'm telling you off. But John's looking out the window and he says, something's happening. We go back to the 5th dimension where the Zanny has thrown his ball, and Nightwing says the Zanny isn't lying. I know it in my heart. I know it as he releases the ball. I know it before the first can falls. As that ball starts to knock over a bunch of cans, it starts to cause massive destruction in the city of Blüdhaven, and Nightwing says before the screaming begins. Barbara and John both see this happening, and they immediately jump into action. Side note, I love the design of Martian Manhunter's suit. Oh my god, it's so clean. The ball continues to barrel all the way through the cans, destroying the city of Blüdhaven in the process. And at this point, Nightwing is pissed. He says, damn it, damn you. Olivia Pierce walks up to him with his own ball, and she says, your throw, Nightwing. You can aim to minimize casualties, of course. And the Zanny continues for her, saying, but if you take down fewer cans, you and the children will stay here forever. It's a tricky bind, isn't it? A rock and a hard place, as Olivia hands Nightwing his ball. Nightwing asks, what's the point of all this? What if I just agreed to become your ringmaster? Could we stop all this? But Zanny says, I want you to understand how the world works. I want you to embrace the absurd cruelty of it. I want you to laugh in its face. Then you will be my ringmaster. Throw the ball, Nightwing. It's the first step. Nightwing prepares himself to throw the ball, but before he does, Zanny says, oh, children, as he gets the attention of these children that he's transformed, saying, I think Nightwing might be nervous. Let's show him he has your support, And all of these children start to run over to Nightwing, and he says, oh boy. They start to jump all over him, trying to distract and mess up his throw. And Nightwing says, ignore them, block it out. It isn't real, even though it hurts. Gravity here is subtly lower than in the real world. Adjust for that. Adjust for the jostling. One throw. How much damage can I do? Nightwing winds up his throw and takes his shot. And the Zanny watches. Look at his smile. His joy at having forced my hand. At having made me hurt my city. Look at his smile drop as he realizes I wasn't aiming for the cans, and that it wasn't the ball they gave me that I've thrown. And the thing heading towards the Zanny says, soup, and collides with the Zanny, blowing a hole wide open in his chest. Zanny says, what is this? Nightwing heads on the attack and says, a Nightmite soup grenade, a liquid 5th dimensional imp in a bottle. It was Martian Manhunter's idea. Since this is a realm of imagination, he figured that the only thing that can destroy one idea is another. And you know what? At the end of the day, you are just a really bad idea, as he starts to pummel the Zanny. You aren't a circus god at all, are you? Just another chaos-sowing imp from this dimension. You think you can tear apart my city? My city? But Olivia Pierce from behind him says, you're wrong. The Zanny inspired me, guided me. How is that not a god? You have to take everything, don't you? Even after I'm dead, you're still trying to take from me. As Olivia starts to wind up the throw with her own head. Nightwing says, Pierce, Olivia, please don't. And she throws her head directly at what seems to be Titan's tower, and she says, it's time someone took from you, Nightwing. And unfortunately for everyone in Blüdhaven, Titan's tower comes crashing down, with Barbara witnessing it firsthand, but also realizing that Bryce Moran, aka Nightwing Prime, is still inside, and he is still wounded from kryptonite. And that brings us to the end of the issue. Man, Dan Watters has been doing such a great job on his Nightwing run. I really enjoy what he's done with this book so far. I really wish that Dexter Soy was still on the art for this book, though. I love Dexter Soy's artwork, but overall, I really enjoy this story. For me, it's been a little more enjoyable than Tom Taylor's Nightwing run. No shade to him, his Nightwing run is good, but I have loved Dan Watters' Nightwing run so far. And his introduction of this villain, the Zanny, really makes me feel like this could be a potential Lex Luthor or Joker type of arch nemesis for Nightwing. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this issue in the comments. If you enjoy comic book content like this, feel free to like and subscribe. I upload new comic book videos every single week. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.